Feel okay for that. Across the area, our wind gusts are ranging anywhere from about 15 to 25 miles per hour. There are a couple of spots here around Sarasota and into Valrico where it's a little bit higher. Siesta Key at 27-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So our sustained winds substantially lower than that. Really, we do have a little time here for you to get a few things done if you need to. 6 to 10-inch rain totals widespread are still what we're looking at, but there's a possibility with those heavier feeder bands that we could see locally up to 20 inches. Again, we're keeping an eye on that. As more data comes in, we'll be able to fine-tune some of those rain totals. But at this point, everything is coming in about the same in that 6 to 10-inch range. Along the coast, though, we are expecting some of those wind gusts around 90 to maybe 100 miles per hour. Inland, we'll see those higher numbers with the wind gusts, especially in Highlands County, possibly southeastern Polk County, DeSoto County. And of course, we've been talking a lot about those power outages. None of us want to see this coming, but that is expected widespread across the area. Take a look at the next couple of hours. This isn't bad at all. We've got mostly clear and mostly dry conditions through midnight, and then the rain chances start to come up. That's where some of those bands that are just on the far outside, north side of Irma start to work their way across the area. Those rain chances really start to go up after 3 o'clock in the morning. And then take a look at that. We're looking at the wind and the rain all arriving across Tampa Bay around 9 o'clock in the morning. And again, some thunderstorms in the mix. That's also about the time when we are likely to start seeing those tornado warnings getting fired off across the area as we move through the day. So you do have several hours still here to get things done, get a few things cleaned up. I know it's dark outside, so you're not necessarily going to want to clean up the yard, but maybe you've got a few items on the patio that you haven't gotten to yet that you don't want to have turn into flying objects. So all of us are in that hurricane warning. We are anticipating that we'll have those hurricane strength winds throughout the day tomorrow, moving from south to north. Right now, though, 120-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds. Again, we've been waffling between that 120 and 125 range for several hours, as well as we made that turn from westerly to west-northwest several hours ago, but we've been going back and forth with 7 to 9 miles per hour as it's been interacting here with some of those barrier islands. At this point, though, you can see it looks like it has started to pull away and maybe starting to make that northerly turn. So we'll see if it comes out that way in the 11 o'clock update. At this point, we're still on the same path. We haven't really seen any big changes to this path here. We're expecting it to strengthen to a Cat 4 storm before it makes landfall tomorrow around 2 o'clock, possibly as late as 4 if the Futurecast ends up verifying, and then working its way north. It's going to weaken as it moves north across Tampa Bay, potentially a Cat 3 storm as it's working across Hillsborough and into Pasco counties around 2 o'clock in the morning. We're looking at those 115-mile-per-hour winds possibly as this storm rolls through, and then continuing to weaken as it works its way in the direction towards Gainesville and then eventually across Valdosta heading into Georgia as a much, much weaker system. But we'll be carrying some rainfall along with it. This power outage index keeps fluctuating some. We're looking at a very large portion of the area in a high risk for power outages over the next couple of, 24 to 48 hours at least. But then once we get to the east coast of Florida, there's a much larger area that is looking at a severe risk for power outages. The bottom line is, at this point, I think we're all pretty much expecting it. You saw here, that moved a lot faster than I was anticipating it would. The yellow circle is where we're looking at a chance for those tropical storm force winds, and the red area is where the hurricane force winds are moving. Let me see if I can get it back here again. Okay, so we know that this is going to move quickly across. So fix your eyes. Ready? Here we go. This is where it starts. Looks like the majority of those hurricane force winds are going to be moving right along our coastal counties. So Manatee, it's going to be in Sarasota, Manatee, Hillsborough, Pinellas, Pasco, Hernando, and then Citrus. And it then just really starts to get a lot smaller as it moves north because we start to see that storm weakening enough. But it does look like it's going to roll across all of our coastal counties there. As far as those wave heights go, still looking at some higher wave heights around the east coast of Florida, but on our side, we're seeing some increase as well with that path getting a little closer to the west coast, or right along the west coast. We're still looking at storm surge possibility in Pasco County on north of 3 to 6 feet above the high tide on Monday morning. Tampa around 4 to 8 feet, and then south of Tampa around 6 to 10 feet. Again, that's at high tide early Monday, when we will be at the greatest risk for substantial storm surge across the area. And again, with the high tide around 2.5 feet in St. Pete, with that additional amount of storm surge, we could see some significant storm surge here across Tampa Bay. So the storm surge warning as a result of this has been issued for all of Florida's west coast. You can see these numbers here, and the probability of seeing that intense storm surge, really those bright red colors there right across Tampa Bay, indicating a pretty good likelihood for it. So Clearwater, your high tide on Monday morning occurs at just after 3 o'clock at about 2.7 feet. So again, these are high tides, much higher than what you may find as well on a regular day. So Monday at 5:24 in St. Pete, we've got 2.5 feet. In Sarasota, a little over 2 feet around 4 o'clock in the morning. All right, so you've seen those wind gusts coming across the area at about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're going to start to approach some of those tropical storm force winds, especially closer to the coastline and to the south, and they all just work their way north. You see by Sunday at 2:30, we're getting into the 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in our southern counties at that point, and then that starts to work its way up across the area where we've got 100-mile-per-hour wind gusts possible. Bradenton, Sarasota, into Zolfo Springs, Sebring around 91. And then after that, we'll start to see it coming back down around 2 o'clock in the morning. So again, we are looking at that wave of very high winds and possibly hurricane force winds coming across a lot of our counties throughout the day tomorrow and into tomorrow night. All right, guys, who am I tossing back to? Is it Wendy or Jameson?
Both of us.
Both of you. All right, it's a party.
Thank
Let's
you,
go.
Shay.
All right, with events like these, we often rely on content from social media to get some different perspectives, and we get it in real time.
That's right. ABC Action News anchor Laura Harris standing by at the digital dashboard with the videos just coming in right now. Laura, what are you seeing?
And just coming in, because earlier we weren't really seeing much of these videos, and as Shay was just talking about, it's because of where the storm is. But now we are definitely seeing some. I want to show you this one first. This was right in Miami Beach. And check this out. The sand, you see it eroding there. So this is about a 3-foot drop off already. And that was earlier today before anything really happened. This was just kind of some of that sand being pushed down. I want to show you this one too, though, because this is what's happening right now in Miami Beach. This person just posted, this is Miami Beach. Trees are down. Hurricane Irma is here, and we're not even in the eye. Now, I want you to look at this. What we're seeing here is this. You see the stop sign right here? Just whipping in the wind. Again, Hurricane Irma is not really even here yet. You can see what it's doing. You can see that it looks like the rain is going sideways. These are some of the things that we can expect to happen kind of soon here in our area. Same thing happening here in South Beach. These are some of the pictures that we're seeing. And remember, Shay said, I was just going to look like things are just kind of blowing sideways, because that's what they're experiencing right now.